Good morning, beloved. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever it is that you are watching the broadcast. Hello, hello, hello. It is wonderful to be able to connect with you. To be able to say hi, what is happening, what's going on with you, what do you be up to? Um, for those of you who will be on live, yes, 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 yes. Let's do it. For those who will hashtag it and replay it, I get that. And for those who will be on, I don't know you on. I might not never know you on. Okay, okay. And then for those who will be used by Papa at some point down the road to let me know that what I'm doing matters and folk are benefiting from it, I greatly appreciate that. I greatly appreciate that. So, uh, so let's do it. Let's do it then. Let's make it happen. Let's make it happen. Um, we've been talking about yesterday. We talked about this notion that it's just not that deep, right? It's just not that deep. And so today, I want to talk about the idea of, is it worth your precious time and energy? Like, is it worth it? Is it worth your precious time and energy? Um, it's not that is it that deep? Does it have to be that deep? Is it worth your time? Is it worth your energy? Is it worth the effort you're putting into it? Is it worth it? I mean, only you really can answer that question for yourself as it relates to, is it worth it? Because because how many things do we involve ourselves in and it's just not worth it, beloved? And it's just not worth it. How many things do we end up doing and it's just simply not worth it? Good morning, cuz. Pray all is well. You get the slide ready. I'm coming your way. All right, cousin. Ready to see you too. Hey, Virginia. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Yeah, and so then just asking the question, like, is it worth it? Is it worth it to whatever? You fill in the blanks. Is it worth it? Is it worth your time? Is it worth your energy? Is it worth the cost that you'll have to pay? Because everything comes at cost. Nothing is free, even if it just costs us energy. It comes at cost. So the question becomes, is it worth it? Um, our time and our energy. Good morning, Judith. Welcome, dear. Our time and energy is precious. Good morning, Sherry Naylor. Good morning, dear. We don't get more of it. We don't. It's limited, it's precious, and we just simply can't duplicate it again. So my question becomes, whatever it is, if it's actions, engagement with other people, is it worth it? Is your return sufficient enough to warrant your continued engagement? If it is thoughts that you are entertaining, is it worth it? Is it sufficient enough for you to continue with those thoughts? Is it worth it, beloved? Is it worth it? And so um, that's what I, you know, wonder about when you think about, is it worth it? God, we don't nobody know how much time we got. Do you know that? I know you know that. But have you really stopped and given that any energy that no one really knows the time that we have left. And do we want to do with our time? Good morning, Ray. Good morning and welcome. What we're doing with our time, is that what we want to be doing with our time? Is that what we want to be doing with our time? Because no one really knows what time we actually have available, what time we actually have left. So, is it worth your energy, beloved? Is it worth your time? Is it worth it? I'm just saying. So, it's important for us to stop and just consider our engagement, stop and consider our activities, stop and consider our commitments, stop and consider what takes up space in our mind, what takes up space in your soul, and ask yourself, is it worth it? Is it worth it? And if it's not, if it's worth it? Okay, that's simple. Keep doing what you're doing, because you counted up the cost and you concluded that it's worth whatever you're paying. But if you say, it ain't worth it, or if you don't even know, like if you're questioning if it's worth it, then beloved, I'm going to invite you to consider doing something different. Just consider doing something that's different. Because, hey, Dorian, good morning. Good morning and welcome. Because you are precious. Your time is precious. Your energy is precious. All of those cannot be done again. Nope. It's a one and done. It's a one and done. You can get more energy, right? You can't get more energy. You can't get more time, and you can't get another you. It's a one and done. So I'm inviting you, beloved, to really stop and consider that what you're doing, what you're spending your time, your energy, your mental. Good morning, Brian. Good morning, sis. Your mental engagement on. And does it warrant your precious commodities? Time, energy, attention, space, right? Mental space. Does it warrant that? Or is it time for you to say uncle? Y'all know how we used to say uncle when we used to be wrestling or whatever. Is it time for you to say uncle? I'm throwing in the towel. I've done what I could do. This is sufficient for me. It's a wrap. Right? So only we can individually assess where we are. We can only do that individually. But other than that, no one else can say it for us. Like we can look and make some assessments about where people are, what they do, why they do what they do. But only individually can we really say, this is worth my time, energy. And, and so we all have to draw those conclusions for ourselves, whether it's worth it or not, right? Whether it's worth it or not. And so, first of all, we want to protect our peace. Protect your peace, beloved, because I don't care what we have amassed. I don't care who we see ourselves to be, what we see, where we've gone. If we fail to protect our peace, all of that stuff is going to not benefit us as much or benefit us as all if we don't have peace. And we know that, right? From folk in Hollywood, like so many folk took their lives or got into drugs and things like that because they were seeking solutions and peace outside of themselves. And they had access to all the things that we often think, man, if I only had that, if I only could do this, if I only could do that, then I would be. No, no, no. Because no matter where you go, you could be unhappy. Because no matter where you go, you take you with you. So we have to decide that happiness is going to be our lived experience, not wait on the lived experience to make us happy. That's so backwards. I hope you know that. Like researchers who go into the smallest of communities, the most um, limited in resources and things like that, when they go into communities, they find out that those people are far more happier than many of us who have all the trappings of life. But those people are happy. Those people are satisfied. Those people are content. Those people live in peace and harmony amongst themselves. Where unfortunately we often find ourselves fighting and, going against each other and all those kinds of things. And yet we'll look at them and probably pity them. But what T I know this is a little bit off, but what did it say? Pity the fool who what's his name? Mr. T. I pity the fool but just thinking about the idea that they're not the ones to be pitied. Like they've decided what they want out of their lives. They've decided what works for them. Right. They've made the decision. And so when you think about where you are and what's going on with you and how you choose to live your life, how you choose to use your precious time and energy. First of all, wherever you can make this statement, I'm inviting you to make it. It ain't that deep. It ain't, this can't be that deep. That is still in my sleep. That I'm giving up sleep and peace and tranquility for it. It can't be that deep. So I'm inviting you to first think from that perspective. It's not that deep. And then secondly, to just really ask, okay, and is it worth my time? Is it worth your time, beloved? Is it worth your time? Is it worth your time? I don't know. Like I said, only you can answer if something is worth your time and energy. Do you get back a return sufficient enough for you to engage, for you to stay involved in that process? Is your return sufficient enough? I don't know, but we all need to answer that because we get an opportunity to live our days preciously. We get an opportunity to show up, to make choices as to how we will spend our time. Time is so precious. And I only want to use my time in ways that will honor Papa. Right. That will honor Papa in ways that will help humanity and in ways that will help individuals live the highest, truest, and fullest version of themselves. To be that's what I want. That's how I want to show up in life, and those are the things that I want to do. And so, so I invite you to continue to show up, to continue to be the best version of yourself, to continue to press beyond, to continue to quit and say no, walk away from the things that don't serve you towards if they're not worth, right? If you don't get value from it, let's figure out how not to do it. Okay. Let's figure out how not to use our time. Okay. Let's just figure out how to leave that thing and walk away from it. Is it worth it? Is it worth it? Is it worth it? And look, let me just say, there are times when some things are worth it at one point, but are not worth it at another. Or vice versa. It wasn't worth it at that point, but then things change and they become worth it. And a lot of things depend on that. Like sometimes we just don't have space for things, so it can't be worth it. Do you see? So it's not black and white. All of us have our own individual situation in which we have to make the assessment to see, ask ourselves the question, is it worth it? We all have our own individual things there. So I invite you to ask yourself that question. Is it worth it? I love you, beloved. I appreciate you. I value you. And I thank you. I thank you for being on this journey. I thank you for asking yourself questions, for self assessing, for looking at yourself and asking yourself what you think about you, not what you think about the person across the aisleway. What do you think about you? What do you believe about you? What do you hope about you? What do you wonder about you? Like I was sharing with someone and I asked myself these questions all the time, kind of as an assessment, a daily assessment. Okay, Kathy, what did you do? Why did you do it? And does that work for you? Meaning, does it get the results that you want? Does it align with your values? Does it lead you to honor where you are and what you're doing and all those kinds of things? What are you doing? Does it work? Why did you do that? The why is huge. Not why is it a judgment piece, but really, what was your driving motive? What was the thing that was driving you? What are you doing? Why did you do that? And does that work? Does it align? When I say does something work, that's what I'm really saying. Does that align? Does that lead you in the direction that you want to go? Does that help you to be who you want to be at this season in your life? You see? So I'm just asking questions, inviting you to ask yourself those questions or something like them so that we can continue to show up as our best self. I want to be my best self. I want you to be your best self. We're better together when we're our better selves, you know? All right, beloved. At the moment that Abba gave us our breath, me and you, we forfeited, we relinquished, we gave up the right to not be amazing. You and I just simply don't even have the right to not be amazing. We just don't. So I appreciate you. I value you. And I look forward to seeing you soon. Talking to you later. All right. Bye-bye.